Okay, I make things out of concrete, sinks, countertops, fireplace, surrounds, mantles, hearths, and just kind of showing you a step-by-step of just some small samples that I make for designers and show you the steps, things involved with concrete, and what you can do with it. So these here are just some basic forms for little tiles. You might have seen some of them actually over there. These are for a designer, and you can see everything's kind of playing around with the concrete, different materials. That's actually aluminum foil over there, some different textures, decals, things laid into the molds. Kind of just some test things, playing around, see what you can do with it. As you can see when you mold up concrete, everything is cast upside down and reverse. So you have to switch your mind around from how it's going to look finished to how you need to make that finish happen when you make it actually upside down. So you'll see kind of the process here. Concrete is messy. I have a lot of buckets. They're your best friend. The table gets very messy. I kind of keep a messy workspace. It's hard for me to keep it clean. And I'm try to always smile when I work. My wife is taking photos. She gets very detailed, as you'll see with photos. So some of the things in the concrete, Portland cement, that's a white Portland, a gray. Sand, I'm using a really fine sand in the mix. Polymer over there in the bucket, that's basically like an Elmer's glue for concrete. And the type of concrete that I use actually sets up in less than 24 hours. It's reinforced with glass fibers, so you lose the need for the thickness of the concrete that you typically have maybe heard of with concrete countertops. Typically in the past, they'd have to be 2 inches thick, reinforced with rebar, wire mesh, and heavy aggregate. Mine just uses lightweight fibers, and 1 inch of the glass fiber reinforced concrete is 80% stronger than 2 inches of traditional concrete, which allows you to do super thin structures, three-dimensional things, without adding a lot of weight to the pieces. Let's see where we are here. Mixing, a lot of different mix consistencies you can get with the concrete. You can be almost like a water when you pour it. It can be like a clay type material. You can actually pack it onto surfaces. I hope this is making sense to you guys. So right here, this is one of the samples, just pouring the concrete into this form. A lot of different ways to make the concrete. Typically what I do with dimensional pieces like that big furniture piece over there with the white sink on it, the actual layer of concrete that you see on the outside was actually sprayed through a gun to get that layer, because you can't just cast concrete like that without. If you were going to pour that solid, actually, so you know, that piece is not solid, 9 inches. It's actually only 3/4 of an inch all the way around, and it's filled with a very rigid foam. So that cast is completely upside down and cast in one piece. And sorry about my slide here, but here we are grinding the concrete 24 hours after it's cast. There are different mixes that you can do that actually 24 hours, 12 hours, and actually even 2 hours after you pour the concrete, you could actually take it out and start finishing your concrete for the finished pieces. Taking the forms apart, hammers and screwdrivers work well. Be very careful not to hit your concrete. It is very soft yet at this state, rigid, but can dent and scratch easily or chip out a large piece. Some of the pieces you'll see back there, concrete will take the shape and form of and texture of anything that you cast it on. You might have seen some of these light bulbs back here. Some of them are very shiny. You might have thought there was still glass around them, but there's no glass. The concrete was cast into glass, so it'll take the exact appearance of glass. So some different things here. This is actually a television frame, and this is only 1/2 inch thick concrete, made to look like 2 inches solid, which actually now that is turned into that mirror back there. And if you flip it forward, you see it looks 2 inches solid, but it is really only 1/2 inch thick. Some different dimensional things you can do with the concrete, with the glass fibers that you can't do with traditional concrete, is this piece is only 1 inch thick, but looks like one solid piece. It's actually a fire table. different things that you can add into the mold, positives and negatives, to get different effects. Like this breaking away effect there is just done by adding foam into the mold, into the shape you want, and the concrete's going to mimic exactly that. Another version of a fire table right here. It's actually 5 foot long, 3 feet wide, about 20 inches tall, all still about 1 inch thick. Most people, when they see those pieces, they think they're solid concrete, and you explain the process to them, how it works. And it's just an amazing product, stronger than what you would imagine. Just another sink here, different details. Remember, everything that you have to do in this process is done upside down and backwards. Luckily, I haven't messed one up yet. I check my measurements a lot, and I hope I never have a big mess up, but it's bound to happen. Some of the other pieces you see back there, like these light bulbs and that thing that candle is on, when I'm done mixing a project, I have leftovers. So I'm usually scurrying around the house to trying to find some sort of container, something to put leftover concrete in, because I just don't want to throw it in the trash. See what type of cool thing you can come up with. So that's the light bulbs. Our house actually burns out a lot of light bulbs, I think probably about one a week. So I started collecting them and opening them up, taking all the guts out, and it turns into these little waste projects. Same with that candle pillow over there. So right here, it's kind of a whole combination of concrete. That's a concrete sink, concrete countertop, concrete mirror frame. So trying to explain, and I don't know if I did it well, but getting cozy with concrete, it's not just your sidewalks, your driveways, what you walked in here. It can be your countertops, your sinks, your fireplaces, tiles. Any of these things can be done in different areas of your home, interior, exterior. And what inspired me years ago was a book at Home Depot, Concrete Countertops. Saw the word concrete and countertop, never thought I'd see them together. Didn't make sense. Bought the book, saw the pictures, fell in love with it, and studied the book, followed it for years, and finally decided to jump into it and learned that you can really make about anything you can possibly think of concrete, as long as you can design your form and build it. So that's me, that's what I do, and that's it.